is where I live. Incredible, an animal, one life to live. I never give up, I never give in. Some people wanna turn and run, but the strong rise under the gun. Top to the top, ain't never gonna stop. To the top, to the top, ain't never gonna stop. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me, go down in history. Every day I fight to be legendary. Fly high, or will I fall? Legends made when faith is strong. No time to bleed, I'm conquering. While I'm alive, I'm pushing the pain, I'm in for the prize. Some people wanna turn and run, but the strong rise under the gun. Top to the top, ain't never gonna stop. To the top, to the top, ain't never gonna stop. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me, go down in history. Every day I fight to be legendary. Every day I fight to be legendary. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says, The Rock says. The Rock says, The Rock. They talk to me. You got rules in your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see.
Hello and welcome to the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Lisa Lockjams and
Jordan Randy Smith, and we bring you our final WWE pay-per-view event of 2019,
which is the pre-show for TLC, also known as Tables, Ladders and Chairs.
At the moment, it's T, L, and no C.
Partly. So, TLC takes place tomorrow night from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yep, at the Target Center.
So we have 7 matches to go through here, none of which as of yet will take place on the pre-show.
Of course.
This first rivalry comes that sort of has been building since and slightly before Survivor Series, but really started after Survivor Series with some dissension on Team SmackDown.
Yes.
And that features the big dog, Roman Reigns, going against King Corbin in a TLC match. Now, in recent weeks, to be precise, last week, King Corbin decided to feed the big dog dog food.
Yes, you heard us right. Dog food.
With a little bit of assistance from Dolph Ziggler.
Yes.
Last night they would attempt to do the same thing to Kofi Kingston, only for Roman Reigns to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
And here, what are we thinking? Roman Reigns to win?
Yeah, I think so, because he has all the momentum going into this match.
Now, normally as well, there would be something hanging above the ring.
Not this time.
Sometimes, just like they mess up Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, don't go over that again.
We have started seeing some TLC matches, which basically have TLC weapons legalized.
Yes.
And then just end in pinfall and submission. Our second match features the L of the title, when the New Days, Big E and Kofi Kingston, will once again face the Revival for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships in a ladder match.
Now, the Revival have had loads of opportunities at the SmackDown Tag Team Championships.
Not necessarily. And they've had one match since losing the titles, because the Revival lost the SmackDown Tag Team titles to the New Day on the 8th of November edition of Friday Night SmackDown, a week after they were supposed to on November 1st, but we won't go into that again.
No, absolutely not.
But the Revival won a Fatal 4-Way match a few weeks ago against the teams of... where is it? Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, and Mustafa Ali and Shorty G.
With the winning of that team getting the tag team match opportunity at tomorrow night's TLC was the Revival.
And on last night's episode of SmackDown, that match was made a ladder match.
Yes, it was.
I really don't think Revival will win this match unless there's some kind of outside interference.
You're probably right about that.
The next match has a very interesting dynamic to it.
Oh, yes.
The WWE Blue Reversal,
yeah, we're still calling it that because of what...
or Universal Champion Bray Wyatt, not The Fiend, but Bray Wyatt will take on The Miz in a non-title match. This has come out of nowhere, really, and we know whose stick that is.
And whose stick is that?
Yours, coming out
of
nowhere. So let's backtrack to Survivor Series.
Yes, rewind.
The Fiend faced Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship,
in which the Fiend managed to win quite comprehensively.
On the next edition of SmackDown, Daniel Bryan basically was almost confirmed as a face again.
Yes.
And wanted to take on Bray Wyatt in a rematch, only to be pulled under the ring and have his hair ripped out.
Correct.
Then, one of his arch enemies in The Miz
has started to show a little bit of compassion.
Yes, whilst accepting that him and Bryan will never be buddies.
Best friends.
That Daniel Bryan is part of the WWE and SmackDown family. And would go looking for Daniel Bryan. Then Bray Wyatt would appear from the Firefly Funhouse and say how he used to have a family.
Hinting, and then Bray Wyatt then shows a picture of the Miz and Maurice family photo with their daughter.
This causes the Miz to go
crazy
and run backstage, call Maurice, go in hunting of Bray Wyatt, he comes across for photo backstage, only to be hit with his sister Abigail.
Again, my shtick out of nowhere.
Now, the fact that this is Bray Wyatt and not The Fiend makes me think that there is a more of a possibility that The Miz could win this match, although I do slightly doubt that.
Yeah.
The next match seems to have been thrown together at the last minute,
Pretty much.
but should be a relatively entertaining mid-card match. As on Raw, there seems to have been some tension between Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black.
Yes.
As I said, this was thrown together at the last minute, or seems to have been thrown together at the last minute. They've had some tension on some episodes of Raw, and this should be a relatively entertaining match, which Aleister Black, in my opinion, should win.
Yes, Buddy Murphy, you've pretty much signed your own death warrant by challenging Aleister Black.
The fifth match on the card is a second Tables, Ladders and Chairs match.
Yes, as the Kabuki Warriors in Asuka and Akari Sane defend their women's tag team championships against the Man, Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion, and the Queen, Charlotte Flair.
Yes, you heard right. Enemies will become tag team partners in 24 hours, just over, when Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair will attempt to become tag team champions.
Now, this will be the second ever women's team match, but it'll be the first regarding the women's tag team championships.
It'll be the second year in a row that Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka compete in a TLC match.
Yes.
Now, as we go back to Survivor Series again,
Rewind back.
on the SmackDown women's team is when this kind of got started.
Yep.
When, did I say SmackDown women's team? I meant Raw women's team.
Oh, yes.
When Charlotte would be the victim of some green mist during the during the 5-on-5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match.
Yeah. But ever since then, things have gotten extremely personal between the Kabuki Warriors and Charlotte Flair. But then Becky Lynch was then added into the mix when she too had some problems with the Kabuki Warriors.
Yes, each person in Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair would attempt to face the Kabuki Warriors in a 2-on-1 handicap match. First, Charlotte Flair was defeated with an insane elbow from Kairi Sane. But then Becky Lynch was going slightly better when some weapons were introduced,
Yes.
causing a disqualification. And Becky Lynch would end up going through a table. So backstage, the challenge was made, and after admitting that they kind of needed each other, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair said, why don't we up the ante and make it tables, ladders and chairs?
Which would be quite good, actually.
Yes, a few months ago, at WrestleMania, Becky Two Belts was born.
It was.
Now, can she end the year by becoming Becky Two Belts once again?
We will see in a mere 24 hours.
Now, this next match, I don't know what to say about it. Personal. It's personal.
And one of the most stupid storylines so far in 2019. Or just in 2019 in general.
We all know that in real life, Rusev and Lana are married.
Yes.
Well, apparently on WWE TV, Vince McMahon has decided that it is a very good idea for Lana to essentially have an affair with Bobby Lashley.
And again, if it's his idea,
serve Rusev with a restraining order.
Again, which caused Rusev to miss quite a few matches.
Have Rusev is breaking the law.
And all that rubbish.
And then how Rusev ends up attacking Bobby Lashley on several occasions. This past week, we had Divorce Court.
With Jerry the King Lawler.
In which was cringy because Lana is just so overplaying this.
Yes. Very cringy is the word.
However, as we all know in WWE, a contract signing, no matter what it is, never ends well.
No. Because after Rusev signed the divorce papers, Lashley and Rusev got physical, which ended up with Lashley going through the table.
Yes, so now Rusev will take on Lashley in a tables match tomorrow night.
Yes, you heard us right. A tables match.
In which, personally, I would have Rusev win, but who knows what's going to happen.
And who knows what Vince McMahon is thinking, seeing this storyline.
And finally, the Viking Raiders will once again, as they did on Raw, issue an open challenge for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Now, it'll be very interesting to see who answered the call, because the team that answered the call on Monday Night Raw were the Street Profits.
Well, there have been rumours that the initial plan was to do the Viking Raiders, I should say, taking on Gallows and Anderson.
Yes.
So they could answer the call. AOP, who recently aligned with Seth freaking Rollins, could answer the call. We could have a surprise team answer the call. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see and inform people next week.
Absolutely. So those are your matches.
Yes, we'll run through them once again. Roman Reigns takes on King Corbin in a tables, ladders and chairs match.
The New Day will defend their SmackDown Tag Team Championships in a ladder match against the Revival.
Universal Champion Bray Wyatt takes on The Miz in a non-title match.
Aleister Black will take on Buddy Murphy.
The Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane defend the Women's Tag Team Championships against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair in a tables, ladders and chairs match.
Rusev and Bobby Lashley with Lana in his corner will fight each other in a tables match.
And the Viking Raiders of Eric and Ivo will issue an open challenge for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
So join us next week for our views and reactions to the last WWE pay-per-view of 2019 in Tables and Ladders and Chairs.
Until then, he's been
Sean Randy Smith, and he's been
Reese Rock Jones, and we shall see you next week.
Bye-bye.